The next day, it was time for the ritual. All the arrangements had been made. The venue was decorated. Satyabhama herself, she was wearing so many ornaments, so much gold, so many diamonds, so many rubies, gems, everything. Everybody had come to see, from the people of Dwaraka to some of the palace members themselves. Everybody had come. Everybody. And the venue, it was filled. Devarshi Narad himself had come as well, on Satyabhama's request. Because the same day that Devarshi Narad had told Satyabhama to perform this ritual, Satyabhama had made just one request of him. Devarshi Narad, you gave me the idea to do this ritual. You told me everything about how to do this ritual. There is one thing though. I don't have a Brahmin or a priest who can come and do this ritual for me. Who is better than you? I can call several people, but none of them would be comparable to you. You are the son of Lord Brahma. You are called the celestial sage. So I request you, please, I want you to be the Brahmin, the priest, that performs this ritual for me. Devarshi Narad had readily agreed. And so, even he had showed up to see this unique ritual and to perform it. He looked at everybody in the venue, and first, he greeted Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna and him exchanged a small smile. They both knew what to do. Satyabhama herself came there. She greeted the celestial sage. Devarshi Narad. Devarshi Narad blessed her. And once everybody was seated, the proceedings for the ritual could now begin under the shade of the Parijata tree. Devarshi Narad looked at Satyabhama. Here's the thing. The ritual you are trying to do is so that you can get the full love of your husband. There is one thing you should keep in mind though. When a person tries to get something that is much beyond what their fate could have ever thought to offer them, the sacrifice that they need to do to get that, to cross over their own fate, to rewrite their own fate, to get something that never belonged to them, they need to give a sacrifice, a donation. Goddess Satyabhama, she looked a bit confused. Donation? What do you mean, donation? Money? I have so many ornaments, please take whatever you like. Or tell me how much you need me to give you, I can give them to you. I don't mind. Devarshi Narad stopped her. No. First of all, I'm a sage. What use do I have for money? Absolutely nothing. And donation, it's not always about money. It's about how much the thing you are donating means to you. The greater the demand that you keep, the greater the object that you need to donate has to mean to you, the object or the person. So, tell me, Goddess Satyabhama, you are doing this to get the love of your husband. As such, you are demanding your husband. So, what do you value so much enough to equal your husband? I know you value your husband a lot. Tell me, how much money do you value equivalent to the amount you value your husband? Goddess Satyabhama didn't hesitate. I don't value anything more than I value him, not even my own wife. He means everything to me. Well then, Devarshi Narad, he smiled. Well then, you answered your own question. If the Lord of Dwaraka, if the Lord of the universe means everything to you, and you are trying to get him, you will need to give me something or someone in equal value to him, to you. And as you said, nobody else can equal him for you, which means what you need to donate, or who you need to donate in this case, is the Lord of Dwaraka himself. In a moment of carelessness, a small mistake that would cost her so much, Goddess Satyabhama, without thinking, responded, I, Satyabhama, Queen of Dwaraka, wife of Sri Krishna, vow and give the celestial sage Devrishi Narad, the priest performing this ritual for me, my husband, Sri Krishna, as donation. No sooner had the words escaped her mouth, she realized just what she had done. The rest of the queens, who were standing a little far away, gasped in shock. Well, everybody except Goddess Rukmini. She just smiled. She, to some extent, already had realized what was going on. Goddess Satyabhama, on the other hand, almost immediately began crying. She had just realized what she had done. She was trying to get the love of her husband. She donated her own husband. Even if she somehow got her husband back, her wish would likely always remain unfulfilled due to her own actions. If she never got him back, well then her wish being fulfilled was completely out of the question. Her husband, if he wasn't there with her, then how could she ever get his love? And after what she had done, could she even get his forgiveness? She looked at Devashi and nodded. I don't even know. I don't know. I made a huge mistake. I didn't realize what I was saying. I got too carried away in the moment. Please let me take back what I did. I can't live with myself like this. Please, I can't do this. You can't do this. Give my husband back. Devashi Narad almost wanted to. He wanted to tell Goddess Satyabhama that he couldn't care less for her donation, that he wanted to give Krishna back. After all, who was he to take Krishna's donation? But one glance at Krishna stopped him. Sri Krishna, obviously he could communicate without the need for words. And telepathically, he told the sage, you know what needs to be done. Right now, this happening is very important. So Goddess Satyabhama gave me to you. And you cannot give me back this easily. You know what needs to happen. Please, follow this plan. Meanwhile, Goddess Rukmini, from where she was standing, heard this conversation because she was Goddess Lakshmi's incarnation herself. And what could stay hidden from her? She almost smiled. Almost. But she hid back her smile. For now, she wanted to act as if she didn't know anything. Let this game go on. Let's see how would it play out, was her thought process. And so she bit back the smile that came up to her lips. And just like the other queens, pretended to be completely shocked. Though she knew everything, so she wasn't worried. That being said, Devashi Narad looked to Goddess Satyabhama. Here's the thing. If this is any normal donation, if you had donated me even something like money, then maybe I hadn't thought about giving it back. Maybe I hadn't given it back immediately. After all, you are asking me. But we're talking about Sri Krishna here. Not only a king, not only the king of Dwaraka, but the Lord of the universe. The one who can basically command everything in the universe. The one who is the power of everything and everyone. And I got him thanks to you. I would be a fool to give him away so easily. I'm sorry, but you made a huge mistake if you thought that I would give him back. I'm sorry, Goddess Satyabhama, but thank you for your donation. Goddess Satyabhama looked at him. No, I didn't mean to. I didn't realize what I was doing. You can't do this. This isn't right. I mean, if this ritual is all you're cared about, then I don't want to do the ritual. Just give me my husband back. I don't care about getting his love. I just want him. You're taking him away from me. The celestial sage looked at her. Well, I'm doing this ritual for you, right? Or at least that's what I came here to do. If you don't want to do the ritual, that's fine, but you can't take back what you gave me without me wanting to give it back to you, and I don't want to give it back to you. So, do the ritual or not, that's your call. If you'd like me to do the ritual, I'm still here. But, if you don't want to do the ritual, that's better for me. I'm going to go, and I'm going to take Sri Krishna with me. Because now, he has to do everything I say. He belongs to me, thanks to you giving him to me. Saying as much, Devashi Narad looked towards the Lord of the Universe. His tone was stern. Come on. Though he knew he was guilting himself for saying what he did. But still, he was under orders. he couldn't refuse the Lord of the Universe. And even if he didn't want to, he had to play this game. And so, he took Sri Krishna, almost acting as if he was taking Sri Krishna outside the room, but just to see what was going on. Both Sri Krishna and Devarshi Narad had now chosen to hide behind twin pillars in the venue, just watching the room, making sure nobody saw that they were there, but making sure that they could see everything that was going on. Goddess Satyabhama, with tears streaming down her face, now went to the one person who knew that everything was going on. And while Goddess Satyabhama didn't know that Goddess Rukmini knew the truth, she knew that Goddess Rukmini was the only person who could help her. And so she went to the person who she was once jealous of, but whose help she now desperately needed. She looked to Goddess Rukmini and addressed her, "Sister, I made a mistake. I don't know why I did what I did. I don't know how to take it back. Devarshi Narad won't listen to me. Sri Krishna won't listen to me. But they won't listen to me. They won't listen to anyone. They'll listen to you. You are the only person they will listen to. Nobody else. So I'm begging you, please help me. Because if Sri Krishna is gone, then I am not the only one who has to suffer. You will too. All the other queens will. All the residents of Dwaraka will, because their king is gone. Our husband is gone. What are we supposed to do?" Goddess Rukmini, she thought for a second and then she smiled. If Sri Krishna was going to play this game, she wouldn't let him play it that easily either. "Well, come on then. I'll see what I can do." Saying as much, she went to the place where Narada Muni, and Sri Krishna had told they were going to go. That is, to the kitchen. Devarshi Narad and Sri Krishna immediately looked at each other and ran out of the venue because they needed to reach the kitchen before all the other queens could reach there and find that the kitchen was in fact empty because they were spying on the rest of the group. They ran, and Devarshi Narad instinctively sat on the floor, giving the higher seat to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna paused. "Please get up. Please get up. We're running out of time. Please get up. Please sit there. I need to sit on the floor. You know the game we're playing. Please." And finally, just a second before the queens could come in, they had managed to be seated in their right places. Sri Krishna on the floor, with a small machine in front of him to be able to actually grind. And Devarshi Narad seated on the higher seat, just chanting, "Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya." Usually, when he was chanting, he'd be completely focused. Today, he was chanting just to be able to keep an eye on what was going on. And Sri Krishna, well, he was supposed to grind chutney for Devarshi Narad, which is what he was doing, or at least trying to seem like he was doing, as Goddess Rukmini soon found out. She came there and she looked at him. For a second, she couldn't help but be surprised. Sri Krishna, who always loved to be in various ornaments, had kept his crown on one side, his flute on the other, and was himself seated on the ground, grinding chutney, or what she could only imagine as being chutney, despite the paste in front of her looking nothing like chutney. She looked at Sri Krishna. "Please come on. I don't know what you are doing, but please come on." Sri Krishna looked at her. "Well, I'm grinding chutney for Devarshi Narad. Would you like to taste it?" Goddess Rukmini paused for a second. The thing was, Sri Krishna, who was the creator of every skill in the universe, who knew everything, obviously he'd be very good at cooking if he wanted to. And she couldn't help her curiosity. She didn't know if Sri Krishna was actually cooking, or was this just another elaborate trick? Obviously they couldn't have come here more than 2 seconds ago, so what exactly had he managed to cook? So she took a small taste. That expression flickered before it came back to its neutral expression, a practiced expression from her years of growing up as a princess. She looked at him. She just smiled, and then looked at him again. She looked to Devarshi Narad, and then back to her husband, then back to Devarshi Narad one more time, And then back to her husband. She paused, she didn't know what to say. And then she recollected her thoughts. I have never tasted anything like this in my life before. I don't think anybody has ever managed to make something like this. Ever. In the entire universe. I think you are the first person to make something like this. This is great. Her expression changed. So did her tone. Her smile dropped. You have added neither salt nor any type of spice to this. This has absolutely no flavor at all. This tastes like... This looks like you... This also looks and this also tastes like you managed to take grass and grind it into a paste using a pestle and mortar. Is that actually what you did? This is grass. This is a paste made of grass. This isn't even fit for humans to eat. I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it to the serpents so they can go and give it to the cows, because otherwise the cows will be able to enjoy it and eat it. Her tone changed. She realized who she was talking to, and in front of who she was talking to. And she stood up. Please, come on, this doesn't suit you. If Devashi Narad needs food, then he can make his own food. I'm sure he knows how to make his own food. Definitely he knows how to make chutney. That's better than this. Please come on. This really doesn't suit you. Please take your crown, please take your food, and please come on. Because you are the king of this place, not a cook. Devashi Narad wanted to stop Goddess Rukmini, but he looked at Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna looked back at him. Devashi Narad knew he needed to stop Goddess Rukmini now. And Sri Krishna wasn't planning to get in between Devashi Narad and his own wife. So Sri Krishna had just decided to watch. Devashi Narad was tasked with somehow creating a logic good enough that the goddess of the universe, the mother of everybody in this universe, couldn't break it. And so he looked at her. Goddess Rukmini, please wait. A second before Sri Krishna will leave the room, Goddess Rukmini turned back. Yes? Devashi Narad looked at her. Well, you are taking him back, but Goddess Satyabhama also gave me Sri Krishna. You cannot just take him back like... Goddess Rukmini stopped him before he could continue. Please. Before you say Goddess Satyabhama, my sister, gave him to you, I'd like to ask you one question. Would you please just do me a very quick favor and answer it? Devashi Narad looked at her, looked confused. Didn't know what question she was going to ask. He definitely knew that the question would make it near impossible for him to be able to keep Sri Krishna with him. Goddess Rukmini smiled. Well, Goddess Satyabhama gave him to you, but you never asked my permission. So I'd like to know, am I Sri Krishna's wife or not? Devashi Narad paused for a second. He couldn't say no because Goddess Rukmini was Sri Krishna's wife. That being said, he knew exactly where she was going with this. He knew exactly where, and he couldn't stop himself from still falling into her trap. Well, yes, you are, but Goddess Rukmini stopped him. Well, if I am Sri Krishna's wife, then I am taking my husband with me because my consent wasn't asked when he was being given away. And so you have no right to take my husband away from me. Thank you, Devashi Narad. If there's any other help I could do for you, please let me know. Saying this much, she took Sri Krishna and once again turned to leave. Devashi Narad stopped her again, desperately, begging himself to be able to think of some answer, some sort of response. And finally he got it. Goddess Rukmini, please, you are Sri Krishna's wife. I'll admit that, but Goddess Satyabhama is also Sri Krishna's wife. So, here's the thing. You did not consent to me getting Sri Krishna. Goddess Satyabhama did give me Sri Krishna, so do one thing, please. Whichever part of Sri Krishna is yours, you take him and go. Whichever part of Sri Krishna is Goddess Satyabhama's, I'll take him and go. And before Goddess Rukmini could answer, because Devashi Narad knew if Goddess Rukmini answered, he would once again be scrambling to find an idea. He did not want that for himself. And so immediately he turned to look at Goddess Satyabhama. Goddess Satyabhama, please tell me, which part of Krishna belongs to you and which part belongs to the others? I'll let them take that part of Krishna and I'll take this part. After all, you did give me a donation. You have to admit you gave it in front of everybody, including the queens themselves and Sri Krishna himself. Goddess Satyabhama Once again, her face fell. She had begun smiling just slightly by seeing Goddess Rukmini's interaction with Sri Krishna, seeing that Sri Krishna was almost about to be taken back, but now her face fell once again. And it wasn't because of the fact that Sri Krishna was likely once again not going to come with them, but it was because she didn't have an answer to the question, which part of Sri Krishna belonged to her. And the question begged a bigger question, and she didn't have an answer to that one either. Did Sri Krishna really belong to anyone at all? Did he belong to Devashi Narad, who she had donated him to? Or did he belong to Goddess Rukmini, who he had rescued by kidnapping her? She didn't know what to say, and she looked at Devashi Narad rather blankly. I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question. Once again, tears began falling down her face, and this time she fell to her knees. I don't know, I just want my husband back. Till this day, I really used to think that he belonged to me and nobody else. And today you're asking me which part of him belongs to me, and I don't even know what to say. He never belonged to me to begin with. He never belongs to anybody. He's nobody's, but he's everybody's. I don't know how to answer you, because I cannot answer you. You asked me such a question that nobody can answer you. Please, I don't know what to do. I made a huge mistake. And if you take Sri Krishna with you, you're not only punishing me for my mistake, you're punishing all the other queens. Everybody in this world, you're punishing them for no fault of theirs. And I want my husband back. I cannot take seeing him like this. He's a king. And you've reduced him to a cook? I cannot take seeing him like this. And if you want a donation, Devashi Narad, if the donation matters so much to you, then I'll give you my own life. Take my life. Kill me, but free my husband from his words, from what I said, from my mistake. Free him. Kill me if you want. Because I cannot see him like this. And I cannot face myself if I have to leave today without him. And he is a slave to you due to my words. I cannot face anybody else. I cannot even face myself. And I would rather take my own life or give my own life than have that happen. So it's your choice now. Either give me back my husband and take my life in his place, or do some other opinion, some other option that means that my husband will be free of my words. Because today, my husband has to be free of my words. And if that means that I will no longer be able to be in his company, that I will die for it, then I'm ready. Kill me. I'm in front of you. And there's a weapon there. Take it. Kill me. Devashi Narad, for once he was at a loss for words. He had expected a lot of different reactions from Goddess Satyabhama, a lot of different reactions, from crying to begging to screaming to pure rage even. But this? What was this? This couldn't even be classified as any... This was devotion? Love? Madness? What could he classify this as? And what was he supposed to respond to this? A queen was on her knees and saying that she would give up her own life for her husband to be happy. Just for his happiness. He couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't keep Krishna with him anymore. He didn't mean to. If this was meant to break Goddess Satyabhama's arrogance, he looked at Sri Krishna. Wasn't that already done? What more was needed? Sri Krishna shook his head. Silently, he communicated one thing to the sage. You're right. Goddess Satyabhama has already changed. A little bit. For us, this will pave the way to be able to completely break her arrogance. But that arrogance is still there. And the second it gets the chance, it will come back in a much more ferocious form. You're right. You cannot keep me with you anymore. Because Goddess Satyabhama, she will not go back from her word. If she needs to, she will kill herself for me to be free of her words. But for her to be free of her arrogance, that requires a little bit more work still. Devashrinath understood. He looked to the queen. Please, please get up. Please, stand up. Once she did, he paused for a few minutes, almost thinking, I cannot take your life. I could never take your life. First of all, I'm a sage. I'm a Brahmin. I cannot kill you. Second of all, what am I to do with your life? And third of all, I'm moved. I didn't want to give away Sri Krishna. I didn't think I would be capable of giving him back because there's a lot of the universe we're talking about, but seeing how much you love him, how much you care for him, it's moved me. You were ready to give your own life. And I'll give you an option. I'll give you one option. This was about Sri Krishna, wasn't it? This entire thing, it is about Sri Krishna, right? Then, give me ornaments, gold, plants, flowers, anything. Just keep in mind, it needs to equal Sri Krishna's weight. And then, I will take that and I will give Sri Krishna back to you. Goddess Satyabhama immediately smiled. She wiped her tears. Sri Krishna was right. Her arrogance hadn't gone away. And it came back once again. In fact, it came back 1,000,000 times worse than before. Her hurt pride, her hurt ego, everything joined together, making her arrogance even more prevalent. Of course, Sage. Of course, I'll do that. But please remember, this is Satyabhama you're talking to. And if I am going to waste Sri Krishna, then I will do it in ornaments and gold. Devashrinath smiled. Of course, if you're able to, please do. I don't mind, please do. I will take that and I will leave from here. Satyabhama smiled, and they all left from there. A huge balancing scale was brought. And on one side, Sri Krishna was placed. On the other, well, nothing was placed as of yet, but Goddess Satyabhama had begun bringing in baskets and baskets full with ornaments. The other queens, they were standing on the side. Goddess Rukmini was just smiling now. She was fully smiling. She didn't care enough to act. She obviously knew how this would play through. There was no way that Goddess Satyabhama could manage to weigh Sri Krishna on ornaments. That much she knew. Now, how exactly was he going to be weighed? She was still waiting to see what would happen before coming to that decision. And so, as she watched, as everybody watched, Goddess Satyabhama kept the first basket filled with the most expensive ornaments. Tiaras, bangles, earrings, a multitude of crowns, hair ornaments, and so many other unique ornaments that the world had never seen till date that Satyabhama owned, that were in her possession. She kept all of them. The balancing scale, it didn't go down, it didn't even move by an inch, it stayed just where it was. Krishna smiled. Goddess Satyabhama, although a little bit confused by this turn of events, placed the next basket, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the expression on her face changed. Her smile was slowly going away. It was replaced by a little bit of confusion, now becoming more and more prevalent by the second. And soon, confusion had turned to worry. 10 baskets, 20 baskets, 30 baskets, the balancing scale was almost running out of place. Baskets were being stacked on top of each other. Ornaments were almost falling down and barely being caught by the servants and being placed back. 40 baskets, 50 baskets, 3 chests, 20 chests. And now, Goddess Satyabhama, to her own surprise, was running out of ornaments. More ornaments were brought in, and finally the servants looked at her. There are no more ornaments in the room. They're over. Everything is over. Goddess Satyabhama looked at the balancing scale. Still, it hadn't moved by an inch. Nothing had changed. Absolutely nothing. And through her confusion, she realized one thing. Not all the ornaments were over. There were still very few ornaments that she had left. First, she took off the ornaments in her hair. Then, followed by the bangles she was wearing. Then, the armlets, each covered with precious gems. each incredibly heavy, but none of them could move the balancing scale by an inch. She took off everything. Everything. And finally, a ring that Sri Krishna had given her, even that came off. Everything came off. Every major ornament that she had, everything was gone. Everything was on the balancing plate. Everything was offered to Krishna. The scale didn't move at all. It was the same way it had been when there was nothing placed on the other end. And finally, Goddess Satyabhama realized she had one thing on her, just one ornament that she could give. Just one. And her hand went the Mangal Sutra around her neck. The one Mangal Sutra that was a mark of auspiciousness for a married woman, and that Mangal Sutra, which is inauspicious for a married woman to ever take off, her hand went to that. She didn't have another choice. Goddess Rukmini almost gasped. She wanted to stop Goddess Satyabhama, and she paused too, as she realized something else was happening. Devashi Narad finally intervened. The same Devashi who had been watching this entire spectacle silently so far intervened. Please stop! His voice came out a lot faster than even he had expected. Goddess Satyabhama paused, her hand brushing against the Mangal Sutra. Still not yet at the clasp. Yes. Her voice had come out a lot quieter than normal. It got more pained, or weaker almost. Devashi Narad looked at her. Not that. Please, please do not take that off. I cannot let you take that off. I cannot let you, not for his sake, not for my sake, not for anything. It's inauspicious for any married man to take that off, and you are the wife of Sri Krishna. You cannot take it off. Satyabhama dropped her hand back to her side. Well then, what can I do, Sage? I cannot do anything. I don't have anything to give. I don't have anything. And for the how manyth time, the day she completely lost track, tears once again began falling on her face. She was completely helpless. In front of everybody that too. This wasn't a silent spectacle. The entire palace was watching. The people who had once gathered for her ritual were now watching this entire spectacle unfold. Was watching her try to weigh her own husband against chests, against baskets of gold, ornaments, everything, against every material possession she had. They were watching that, and they were watching it fail. And finally, Goddess Rukmini looked to Sri Krishna. He wanted to trust her, she said, without speaking. Because after all, why would the goddess of the world need to use words to communicate with her husband? Between themselves, they could speak telepathically well enough. Sri Krishna looked at her. I did want to test Satyabhama. I wanted to break her arrogance. Goddess Rukmini looked at him. Haven't you done that? She cannot be arrogant anymore. But you're going to ruin her self-confidence, any bit of a self-esteem. That's going to be brought down as well. Her arrogance is gone, but her self-esteem needs to remain intact. That needs to be there. Please, please help her. Shri Krishna looked at her, a soft smile on his face. Well, what can I do? I'm on this balancing scale. I'm stuck here. There's totally nothing I can do here, but you are her sister. So now you decide how you're going to weigh me. With gold? With ornaments? Do you have gemstones with you? Goddess Rukmini almost laughed. Of course she would be tasked with this. Right, because she was the final piece of this game. The game had started with the flower being given to her, and of course Shri Krishna would want the game to end with her as well. She bowed to him, as you wish. If you want me to help her, then who am I to say no? After all, I cannot see her like this. She may be jealous of me, but she's my sister. I care for her. And this is paining me to see. I cannot see my own sister like this. And so she went to Satyabhama and immediately put an arm around Satyabhama's shoulder. Calm down, it's okay. I know why you feel bad. You're crying because, first of all, no matter what you tried to do, it didn't work, right? Goddess Satyabhama nodded. You saw everything. Why are you asking me? You saw everything. I don't know what to do. If I lost him for good today, if we all lost him for good today, then I don't know. Goddess Satyabhama was panicking, clearly panicking, and Goddess Rukmini finally was able to console her. No, that's not what happened. I'll bring him back, but I wanted to ask you. You know Sri Krishna is the Lord of the universe. Do you really think he could be weighed with material possessions? Because he has the power to do anything in this world. Satyabhama, there's one thing you should know. That is the only thing that can bind him, the only thing that can weigh him down, the only thing that means anything at all to him in this world. It's not material wealth. It's not any sort of wealth. It's not your arrogance. It's not your ego. It's your devotion. That's your love. That's all that he cares about. And Satyabhama, if you offer even a small Tulsi leaf with love, then that will be more than enough. Saying this much, Goddess Rukmini looked to the side. A small Tulsi leaf was there. She picked it up and she closed her eyes for a second. She prayed to her husband, to her God. I did as he told me to. I want to help Satyabhama. And now, it's up to you to protect my respect as well. This is on your orders after all. And so, to your feet, I am not only offering this to Tulsi leaf, I am offering all my devotion to you. I am offering myself to you. All that I ask for is that the balancing scale moves, that we get you back, that we all get you back, because we need you. I need you. Saying this much, with her eyes closed, she placed the Tulsi leaf onto the balancing scale. When her eyes opened, it was because of a loud noise of metal hitting the tile floor. Huh? Everybody in the venue gasped, because no one person could stay quiet at the scene. Baskets of gold, chests of gold, of ornaments, of gems. They couldn't even move the balancing scale with one small Tulsi leaf. The Tulsi leaf that wasn't even the size of a finger. That was probably even smaller than a baby's hand. That hadn't equaled Krishna's weight, that had become more heavier than Krishna. The balancing scale had been crashing to the ground. Krishna's side had shot up into the air almost. The other side had gone so far into the ground that it seemed that if the ground wasn't there, the balancing scale would keep going down and down for all eternity. Maybe until the balancing scale itself fell back. Goddess Rukmini smiled out of relief. She looked up, because Krishna was up on the balancing scale. Well, that solves the issue. She looked at Devashi Narad, laughing. Well, sage, I would suggest you take your ornaments, treasure chests of ornaments, baskets of ornaments, and all of the gemstones and other ornaments that are placed here, as well as the Tulsi leaf, and please, take your leave. I will take my husband and go. Oh, sorry, we will all take our husband and go. Please, you take this mountain of ornaments. She was obviously trying and failing to control her own laughter at the situation, her own relief at the situation that after so long, everything was back to normal. Devashi Narad laughed. Mother, you know everything. What's hidden from you? What use do I have for all these ornaments? He looked at Sri Krishna. Well, for once, he looked up to see Sri Krishna. Way up. My lord, please. Well, I don't have any use for these ornaments, so if you give me your permission, I will leave from here. He was laughing. He was laughing hard. So were most other people in the venue. This was a spectacle that nobody knew whether they would ever see again. They all thought they wouldn't ever see it again. And they all knew they would never forget this. After all, a small Tulsi leaf had brought the balancing scale crashing into the ground where mountains of ornaments had failed to do the same. Sri Krishna laughed and in an instant got down from the balancing scale. Of course. Thank you so much. Devashi Narad smiled. Please don't thank me. After all, this was your game. I just played my role. I just played the role you told me to play. He looked to Goddess Satyabhama. I'm sorry for any pain that I caused you. Because truly, it wasn't my intention to cause you pain. I was doing as I was told. I was under orders to do everything. Goddess Satyabhama, she smiled slightly. She wiped off her tears and she nodded. I understand that now. After all, any game that's being played is his game after all, isn't it? Devashi nodded, laughed. It really is. It really is. Saying as much, he looked at the crowd. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, and continuing his chant, he disappeared from there to do what he always did, roam around the world and teach everybody about the glories of Lord Narayan, or rather, currently, the glories of Lord Krishna, the glories of Sri Krishna, who is Sriman Narayan's incarnation. Goddess Satyabhama, she fell at Sri Krishna's feet, apologizing for her prior arrogance. Sri Krishna lifted her up. Well, what happened in the past happened in the past. Now, I want you to tell me one thing, Goddess Satyabhama. What should I do with this tree? He pointed towards the Parijata tree. If your ritual is over, should I... Goddess Satyabhama looked away. Please don't embarrass me further. It was a mistake for me to force you to bring... Not force you, but I mean, who can force you? It was a mistake of me to even ask for the tree while I knew it wasn't supposed to be here. And I apologize for... Also, I apologize to Devraj Indra as well, with who you fought to get this. And I'm sorry for everything. Sri Krishna nodded, falling over Devraj Indra. The tree is yours. Heaven deserves it. Devraj Indra bowed to Sri Krishna and to Goddess Rukmini. He took the tree, smiling, and vanished from there, taking it back to where it rightfully deserved to be. Heaven, the property of heaven, and the tree that should always remain in heaven, nowhere else. Goddess Satyabhama smiled, and now Goddess Rukmini looked to Krishna. Well, if your game is over, should we go? I assume the ritual is over as well. Goddess Satyabhama bit back a small smile. Sri Krishna nodded. Of course, let's go. Sri Krishna and Rukmini went to Goddess Rukmini's palace. The other queens went to their palace, Goddess Satyabhama included. The people of Dwaraka, they went back to their home. The palace staff who had come there to witness the entire event, they went back to their chores. Some people cleaning off the venue. Others, well, they went to do what they were required to do. And as everybody went to their prescribed places to do their prescribed duty, free of arrogance as well, thanks to seeing what had happened to Goddess Satyabhama, the story is brought to a close. And this is the incident of how Sri Krishna Tulabharam happened. And the moral of the story is to never be arrogant. Because if a person is arrogant, even mountains of gold can fail before simple devotion heard in the leaf of Tulsi. And at the end of the day, God never cares about how big or how small you donate. God only cares about whether your donation has devotion in it. Because devotion is the only thing that He cares for. Not riches, not food, not anything. To Him, a leaf of Tulsi is equal to a mountain of gold, provided both are given with devotion. Jai Shriman Narayana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.